cannabis as a whole, remember we talked about the genetic part of it. The cannabinoids are included in that. And of the cannabinoids, there are over 100 cannabinoids. 2 of the most popular are THC and CBD.
Oh, okay. So that's what I'm confusing, the CBD. Yeah. I see the CBD products and they say no THC.
Right.
Because they found a way to separate them. Okay. But they're both part of the cannabis plant.
Exactly. And that's what's confusing people because they think, oh, CBD is good because everybody can buy it. But THC is bad because it's going to make you, you know, your brain's on drugs now.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's not the case. That's not.
Man, I'm just working, man.
I know what my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P, and a lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious, I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
This is for all my cannabis indulgers out there, but who are looking to learn more about a unique type of company that deals with cannabis in the nursing profession. So all the way from Cannabis Nursing Solutions, please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Ashley, the Cannabis Nurse. Good to see you.
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good.
I hope that I give somebody some good information so you get a whole lot of cash apps today. A whole lot of single ones, okay?
Like Lucy's. We offer the Lucy's.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. The name is unique. It's original. Ashley, the Cannabis Nurse. What does that entail and what's behind it? How long have you been in nursing and how long have you been mixing nursing and cannabis?
So I've been a nurse for 12 years and I've done all of the traditional things that everybody knows a nurse to do. So I worked in the hospital and I gave you medicine. I worked in like the higher ups and in management and all of that kind of stuff. But I'm a Black woman and a lot of times we don't fit in.
In nursing, you mean?
I mean, just in mainstream industry, period. So I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, right?
Right.
So I ended up in the corporate space and a lot of my ideals didn't really match. So I decided that I was going to take control of my life and do something different. So that's what I did. I learned about cannabis and lo and behold, we have an endocannabinoid system, a whole endogenous system within our bodies that nobody ever told me about.
All right, let's slow down. You said two big SAT words, two big Roland Martin words. All right, so endocannabinoids and indigenous, does that mean it is from here?
It's within your body.
Oh, I thought it was Black people from America. I thought it was indigenous.
No.
Oh, okay. Endocannabinoid.
Endocannabinoid.
Okay.
So we're going to break down the word.
Right.
Endo means inside your body.
Okay.
Cannabinoid meaning the same thing, the part of the plant that we associate with THC.
Got it. This is the marijuana plant we're talking about.
Kind of.
Okay. Or the cannabis plant.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So,
I don't smoke weed, so these questions are coming from a real place.
All right, that's cool.
There's a difference between the marijuana plant and the cannabis plant.
No, not really. So you have the cannabis plant and the marijuana plant. The marijuana plant is a label that people have given it, and that goes back to the Mexican Revolution. And so it has a lot of stigma behind it. So that's why we use the term cannabis. But the plant itself is Cannabis sativa L. Okay. All right. So that being said, within the plant, it has a genetic makeup. So like DNA, right? And that genetic makeup is comprised of cannabinoids, right? Remember that term. Flavonoids is like the flavor and the smell, and terpenes. Okay. Terpenes. So the plant has cannabinoids. A human has cannabinoids.
Yeah, I'm rocking. I didn't know that.
All right,
so we have the similar properties inside endocannabinoids.
Right. So now we have the endocannabinoids, and there's a whole system, a receptor functioning system where those cannabinoids bind to in order to provide homeostasis. So which that big word means just balance.
Okay, balance.
All right. So when I found out all of this information, and believe me, the science of it can get really, really deep, right? But when I found out, I was like, dude, I need to tell the world. Right? But it's just little old me. So I started off creating a course and just to teach other nurses about it. And all of that has evolved into help, like finding a whole network of people that I didn't know existed, and you know, working on guidelines. So many people don't realize that in Maryland, at least, the teacher or the school nurse is allowed to administer medical cannabis to the children who need it for their, you know, to prevent seizures, for their autism, for their ADHD, whatever it is that they determine is necessary.
Wow.
Do I need to slow down? Am I talking fast?
No. That's outstanding. I didn't know that.
So, hence the birth of this book. And now I call myself an author because that's what people do when you publish things.
All right. So we're going to get to the book. So we still slow walking, you know.
Okay.
So Cannabis Nursing Solutions. So you found out this information, you wanted to share it to the world. So you put a business together that does what? So
the business itself is to educate.
Okay.
And part of it is advocacy work, right? The other part of it is consultant work. And then the other piece of it is cannabis education for my nurses.
Mm-hmm. So you're training nurses to be versed in the cannabis industry and have knowledge to treat. Is that something that's acceptable in your industry? Like that?
Not really.
Oh, okay. That's what okay.
Not really.
Now we can do good stuff. So it's an uphill battle just trying to, in a positive way, get something out there that helps people.
Exactly. And really, at this stage in the game is mostly about education. I think the second step of it is implementing it into our practice. So when you see the nurse in the hospital, that nurse will be able to talk to you about what it is you need to do and implement treatment care planning and all of those kind of things.
Right.
But, you know, where we are today is mostly about policy work, which is very new to me, but somehow I've kind of finagled my way into that, and education work and just kind of normalizing the stigma around it.
Now, there's a definite stigma, especially in the medical field. So how do you navigate that? Are you leaning private practice? Is it under the table? Is this, hey, instead of that medication, check out these holistic treatments? Like, what is your lane for that?
It's a little bit of everything. So what I want to do is to be able to have acceptance within our hospitals, to be honest with you. So I mentioned I worked in corporate America hospital life. So I understand the things that drive initiatives and things of that nature. So that's what I'm trying to contribute. And I want all the rest of the nurses that I train to go out and speak about this with their patients, whatever, you know, type of nursing. If you're a neuro nurse, if you're a pain nurse, if you're be able to talk about this holistic type of medicine in their field of understanding.
Now, where do you think the stigma comes from? Because cannabis and THC are different, right? So
no.
You know, I thought one was like the chemical intoxicant property, and the other one was the natural property. That's not the case.
Well, it's kind of true. Like it's halfway true.
Yeah.
So the cannabis as a whole, remember we talked about the genetic part of it. The cannabinoids are included in that. And of the cannabinoids, there are over 100 cannabinoids. 2 of the most popular are THC and CBD.
Oh, okay. So that's what I'm confusing, the CBD.
Yeah.
I see the CBD products and they say no THC.
Right.
Because they found a way to separate them. Okay. But they're both part of the cannabis plant.
Exactly. And that's what's confusing people because they think, oh, CBD is good because everybody can buy it. But THC is bad because it's going to make you, you know, your brain's on drugs now. Right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's not the case. That's not. Oh, okay. Well, give me some benefits. Give me some natural, you know, let's play like I don't know anything. Give me some natural benefits of CBD versus you know, smoking weed and taking on THC. Like what are the health benefits?
So the plant as a whole, the benefit, remember, it attaches to that endocannabinoid system. So it creates balance. And if you know how to consume it in an intentional way, you can create that balance within your body, right? So some people's endocannabinoid systems are deficient in CBD, and then they can supplement that way, and that works fine. But sometimes THC is what you need to balance. And scientifically, if you understand the receptor system, I'm trying to make sure I say it as simply as possible. But if you understand the way the receptor system works, sometimes you need both, to be honest.
Okay.
And then, and then there are this other 100 and something cannabinoids that exist, and they all play a role. So, and we call it the entourage effect in this industry, but it all goes together.
What do you think about the fact that, now that there's so much money in it, and the people that threw thousands and thousands of thousands of people in jail for dealing, possessing, trafficking, whatever have you, a plant that grows naturally, and now they're all billionaires because now they're in an industry that they created, and and marketing and that. What do you think about that part, and what do you see as a way that your service or business can impact that or change that game?
That is such a complicated issue. I feel very passionate about the fact that, essentially my family and my people and my, everybody around me has been essentially destroyed our families because of the war on drugs. You know what I mean? Like it's a very sensitive topic for me on a personal note. With that being said, we all know the system we work in, right? The system isn't really built for us to be wildly successful in a lot of ways. And there are always going to be a lot of roadblocks in that regard. But I think, I mentioned the first step is the education and removing the stigma. I think another piece of that aspect is really understanding policy and true advocacy work, and knowing that our voice really lies within our vote and not just voting for a president, right? And this is something that I've kind of jumped into, not knowing that this is where I'm about to be, but getting to understand those aspects of what my role and my function is as an individual has been eye-opening. And I really wish that I knew more about it, and I could confidently, say, hey, this is exactly what we could do to fix this problem. But I think getting informed about your role and how our policy works and our laws are formed, and being able to teach the people who do have the voice about this plant and the fact that it's a plant is a start, at least.
And that's real, because I can take that. I can accept that, because I feel like we would have more power if we had this, collective understanding, and then was like, hey, man, like, this is what we want to happen. Like, this is a whole industry, and we want to get in. We want a piece of it, because right now, the taxes and fees and franchise and all that, they made a way to still keep us out. But I feel like with a service that you got going on, at least you open people's eyes and be like, listen, this is way simpler than you're making it, way less complicated. It's from the earth. you know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
it really is.
For a newbie like me, let's say I wanted to jump in from a product standpoint, but I don't want to all the way go smoking.
Yeah.
What are some of the things from a holistic, like sore joints, psoriasis? Like, should I drink a tea? Should I get the little CBD oil? What's a good place to start?
I think the topicals are a good way to start. And I say that because it doesn't go into your bloodstream.
Okay.
Simply enough. So if you do have psoriasis, if you do have eczema, if you do have acne, CBD topicals are a good first step. You can even get we call it ratio. So if you balance the CBD and the THC, so if you get a 1-to-1 ratio of that,
Got it.
and have that in a topical, you can still use that and it not get into your bloodstream, because I know a lot of people are fearful about coming up positive on a drug test.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You can even take CBD. There are full spectrum CBD products, and then there are broad spectrum CBD products, and then isolate. If you do isolate CBD products, it has no THC in it.
Ah, okay.
Right. So you don't have to worry about the drug testing again. So those are just different. I mean, but the way to treat certain symptoms, to manage your symptoms, is really dependent on the person's own endocannabinoid system, because everybody's functions differently. So a lot of it is trial and error. And the other is, how you choose to consume it and the frequency of consumption.
Right. All right, we got some questions from the peanut gallery, which I am not going to acknowledge because we got a new thing. We got the phone number right on the screen. It's a live show. Feel free to call 765 Let's Go One. That's specifically to you, Haynes. It's a brand new day. It's a whole new system. So while we wait on those calls, let's talk about the book. You got a children's book out.
Yes.
Yeah. So that just sounds to the unlearned. That sounds weird. A children's book about cannabis. What was the inspiration behind that?
Okay, so I mentioned briefly that I worked on the guidelines did I say that all the way? I mentioned the guidelines that helped to facilitate the implementation of the law here in Maryland. And essentially the law basically says that children should have the right to access their medicine on school grounds. It was inspired by a child here. I'm not going to mention him because I don't know any of the legalities, but there is a child here who advocated for this bill to be passed. And I think at least 1% of our medical cannabis population are medical cannabis patients. With that being said, when I participated with that build, I noticed that there were some things that were being overlooked. And one of which was the fact that not only do children need to be educated that their peers will be taking medical cannabis, but the parents need to be made aware of this happening. And then the school nurses who will be administering the medical cannabis on school grounds.
There's a whole environment around them. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what the book does is it gives a representation of what the nurse's role can be. It gives a perspective of bullying that can occur because of the medical equality that's being overlooked. And then, the other thing is kind of bringing that parent and child together so they can have an open conversation about it. Because at the end of the day, this is what's happening.
And it's called ACEs Medicine. And I saw a release date on your site. So.
Yes, the 11th. I'm taking pre-sales and we'll be shipping out in February.
Awesome. That's outstanding. Outstanding. Yeah, you got one right there. Okay. All right. Will they have the audio book? Will they have that where you can listen and have like Snoop doing the?
Oh, that'd be cool as hell, Snoop, if you listening.
And then Asa went to class.
Right.
Yeah, something like that. That's what's up. All right. Before I let you go, I appreciate you sharing your time with us and talking about your business and everything. But before you go, I gotta get your opinion on something. I can hear in your voice that you're local, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you're from like the Baltimore area, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm assuming. I need you to weigh in on this gentleman right here. Hold on a second. You may know him.
I feel like I'm being set up.
No way. This was awesome. Your mayor. Oh, your mayor went in today. Hold on, let's go to the beginning of this. So somebody tried to get real with your mayor, your newly elected young mayor. He looked like he's about 15.
You're right.
What's his name? I don't even know that much about him. What's his name?
Oh, hold on.
I gotta Google. We gotta Google. Let's watch this video. He had a press conference. This here, ladies and gentlemen, the Baltimore mayor really just handling a heckler in the way that a young hopper from Baltimore should. Let's take a watch.
For making their space available. Before we close and take a few questions, I wanted to address the mandates I put in place, restricting in-person dining and activities that require you to remove your mask. Shorty, pull your mask up.
Yeah, that shot.
Pull your mask up.
Yes.
We are heading into the 4th week of these mandates, and I recognize that Friday will hold on one second.
Yeah, hold
Shorty,
on one second.
come on, man. Look, people dying, Shorty. You can be, you know, I don't have no problem with that, but people need to hear this information because they dying. No, not you. People dying, Shorty. Stand, hold tight for a second.
Hold tight for a second.
We are here on campus.
Man, that is
available.
Greatest thing I've seen today. He said, "Sure, put your mask up first." Like,
yes. Yes. I'm for it. I'm here for it. You know what? You know, Baltimoreans are the most bullheaded people that I have ever met. We need somebody to be able to talk to us in a way that we need to be talked to. So I'm all for it.
That's real. And his name is thank you for that in the chat. His name is Brandon Scott.
Yeah.
Newly elected. Hey, Shorty. I just got this P code, yo. I just put this on for the first time, yo. Don't do me like that.
And he wasn't disrespectful. He said what he had to say. You know what I mean? Like, he did it right.
He handled it. Right. He handled it absolutely well. All right, there it is. Ashley, the Cannabis Nurse, ladies and gentlemen. The book is available for pre-order January 11th. It drops. Aces Medicine, the world of cannabis nursing. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
I don't care if it is a closet. You still looking mad official.